You're a big car guy, right?
I mean, it's funny. Like once you do things on the internet, you realize what people, how they say what level you are of that.
Oh yeah,
so, like,
absolutely.
I like cars,
Right.
But since I can't fix them, people are like, "You're not a car guy."
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I love cars. I love driving cars. I like going to the track. I like all that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you go to a track
Yeah.
and you own several, I would imagine.
You have no
and
idea how many people go like, "Do you change your own oil?" I'm like,
Yeah.
No. And they're like, "Why?" I'm like, "Because I have money."
Yeah.
Yes.
Pay people to do that.
You know, I
Right.
sell out theaters, right?
Yeah,
You think I
yeah,
changed my
yeah.
fucking oil? These hands haven't gotten dirty in a decade.
Yeah, man. Are you fucking crazy?
all that shit, though. Yeah.
If I was an MC, I would be paying someone to change my oil. Yeah.
That to me, like that went out the window a long time ago. Being able to do shit.
I think you're a car guy if you can drive a.
a stick shift.
A manual.
Yeah. Are you manual?
I think if you know it's called a
Are
manual.
you an asshole about it?
No.
Yeah, like
you want to know? I'll tell you a secret because we're like in a real safe zone here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love driving cars, like always, right? And I love sports cars and exotics. I didn't know how to drive a manual into my late 30s.
Yeah.
And I fucking found a place. I found a guy on Yelp who was like, "I'll teach you how to drive manual."
On Yelp?
On Yelp.
The review
Yep.
thing?
I just like manual. He had a business called like Learn to Drive. And like I went to meet him. He's like, "What do you like?" He's like, "Most people do this because they're going to Europe or like India." Like for a job,
Like the last places
and
that
they're
do
like,
this.
they only have manuals. I was like, I just ordered an M2 competition. I don't know how to drive. And he's like, okay. So I learned at like 38.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I went through all the shit that you'd probably go through at 16 if you were learning a manual at that age. I did it at like stalling at fucking stoplights. People being like, "What the fuck?" Like behind me.
You're in this fucking
And I'm-
unbelievable car,
And
right?
then but I just kept doing it, and then
Yeah.
now I'm addicted. I just ordered my third one yesterday.
when I was a kid, my dad would let me shift. I mean, like a kid. I was like 7.
Yeah.
So I would just know we had like this shitty Nissan, and he would obviously be like hitting the clutch and all that. But I knew how to do it at that level.
It's rad. It is once you get.
I
like,
could
it's
see it
fun.
feeling pretty cool.
It's fun.
But also, I'm like, also if you're buying Aston Martins and fucking BMWs and all this shit, I don't really give a shit about driving like my Nissan in, as an automatic.
Oh, yeah,
what
you
I
don't
mean?
have-
It's like
yeah,
I don't want to be working at it when I'm just like going from point A to point B.
Yeah,
you know?
but once it's like high performance shit, you feel like you're in a fucking race car.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's
Yeah.
fun.
I had a buddy who had one, and it's like like his first car was manual, and he was such an aggressive driver that like I think that's probably the only time I've ever been in manual. Like, and I would, in order to make a point, because I'm passive aggressive and kind of a pussy, I don't say things out loud unless you look beautiful. And he was so bad driving it that I would make sure I leaned forward and went back every time.
just
he
to be like,
shifted.
you're a herky jerky asshole.
And
Yeah.
every single time we just get in a screaming match in the car. He's like, you gotta just sit back. Like I'm like, dude, you gotta just drive better. And it would just be this, just rock the entire time.
It does make you really, really upset if you're driving a manual and someone's like, you're like, I'm not shifting
not that-
hard.
yeah.
Dude, I would be kissing the dashboard. I'd be one of those wobbly
Yeah.
birds.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, it's fucking fun though. Here's the thing, like not even if it's manual, if you just have never driven a wild performance car,
Yeah.
automatic even, and you get into it, you'll be like,
You feel it.
oh, if you're driving it,
Dude, I
'Cause that
mean-
people will be like, why would you get this? I'm like, have you driven something like this
Yeah,
before?
because you can feel the difference. I mean,
You're like,
growing up my
I
whole
drove
life.
a $30,000 Audi. Like,
Yeah,
no,
you're
no,
like,
it's
no,
you don't
not,
get
it's
it.
not the same thing.
Yeah, I had, growing up, we had like some minivans for a while, some Nissans, regular shit. And then my family, we got an Acura, like a TL, just like the sedan. And even that, I'm driving it with like my big toe, just like barely touching.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I feel like I'm in a fucking spaceship. And it had those, the big white like headlights. So it was like, dude, we went from like broke ass cars to that. And I felt like I was, in a spaceship. So I can't imagine an actual
I took a crew.
performance
I
car.
took everybody. I have this Vegas deal that I do every few months at the Mirage. So I had like 6 people out there. I took them all to dream racing, including Nadav, who is my producer at YMH, and he's only driven a Honda Civic in his that's
Wow,
it.
that's it.
And I put him in a Porsche 911 GT3, and I was like, "Take laps, dude." And he was like, "Oh." Man.
I have been using HelloFresh for years, literally 4 years, 156 boxes. It is the best decision I've ever made. I don't have to go out to shop. I don't have to order unhealthy food. I don't have to take food forever to get to me. I cook it in 30 minutes and I'm done. It's delicious. It's the smartest thing you've ever done. Click the link in the description below. Join me. Get HelloFresh.
Can you, if you go to one of those tracks, like with zero experience, whatever, they'll just hand you the keys?
Well,
Or you
with an
gotta, like-
instructor.
Okay, so
Instructor in the passenger seat.
but you're driving.
But you're driving, yeah.
That's fucking.
It's super fun, man. It is.
Yeah.
It's like a life. It's a fun experience.
Do you sign? You know, is there like some sort
yeah,
of
you sign like a
if-
death waiver.
Yeah. But if I were to do that and like fuck it up, is it on me, or is there also
No,
like insurance
it's
that
all
covers
covered.
it?
It's all covered.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because that's always been my thing. I'm like, I would love to get on a track.
Do
and
it,
some of that
dude.
shit. Yeah.
Do that. Do
Because I
Vegas is
drive
a
like an
great
asshole.
place
I like
do
to
it.
drive like fast. I like to drive aggressive.
The funny thing is, like, when you learn how different that driving is to what you're used to driving on the street.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're braking way later than you think you should. You're pointing. You're like, I'm gonna hit that. And they're like, No, you
No, you're
won't.
gonna-
It's
yeah.
fun, man.
Do you, when you're driving like your cars, do you ever get, and I guess this kind of speaks to the Aston Martin dude earlier, like, do you get annoyed with people getting excited about it?
No.
No? See, and this is obviously a ridiculous comparison, but like when you have a dog and someone's like, let me pet it, let me talk to it, I want to like, what's it like?
Oh.
And you're like, dude, I don't want to talk, I'm just walking my dog right now. I don't feel like having this
No,
conversation.
I'll have the conversation. Sometimes it's quick. Sometimes I'll be like, I'm going in. I'm like, oh yeah, and I'll tell them like what was done to like all the modifications. Then I'll just like walk into the place. But I'll never like, excuse me.
Okay.
What's like your baby, your crown jewel?
Right now, I have this GT4, a Porsche GT4, that I sent to this guy named Rick Damon up here, who's like a racer.
Yeah.
And like he tuned it, he bore out the engine, made it a 4.5 liter engine. He shortened the gears.
You know.
Yeah.
You know.
He made the gears shorter.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking rocket
Did
ship.
you know this shit ahead of time?
that he did? Well, I
No,
heard about.
I mean, like, did you know, even all this terminology and all this shit? Like, when you were a kid growing up, you never had them.
No,
Did you know about
not
them,
as a
or you
kid.
just got
Not-
into it?
not-
once
not
you
a
got-
kid. But I
once you got
always,
rich?
I knew about like places that tuned cars. So I was always like, I want to do that if I can ever get a car and tune it. I wanted to
Right.
do that because I was like, you mean they make that car even crazier?
Right.
Like, that's what I wanted to do.